Full-time Chelsea 5, Barrow 0, a highly convincing, dominant and comfortable exhibition night for Chelsea. I think within about 15 minutes of this game, it was quite clear Chelsea were going to win comfortably. It was going to be a stress-free night, and we got to see some great finishes from Christopher Nkunku, some nice flashes of brilliance from Joao Felix. We got a goal as well for Pedro Neto, an easy goal, but his first Chelsea goal. And we breezed through to the fourth round of the Carabao Cup as expected. I think there was some consternation, some discourse over the starting 11 in this game. We knew it was going to be heavily rotated. We knew that certain of those fringe players, or at least the players that have kind of been bulked and batched as the second choice starting 11, would be starting tonight. I think the biggest shock in that starting 11 was actually the inclusion of Malo Gusto. Maybe it was just to get him some minutes after he's missed the last couple of games, but given this is a guy who has been struggling with injury and we're not sure when Reece James is going to return, I was kind of a little bit surprised he was risked in this game, but looks like he's come through free from any injury. So we'll see if he plays and starts on Saturday against Brighton, because obviously that is an area that is of some concern, and maybe it could have been a chance for Josh Akpom, who came on later in the game, to actually start here and get significant minutes. But then, of course, as expected, Jorgensen playing, Disasi, Badiashile, Vega starting, Dewsbury Hall, Cesare Casadei, Joao Felix, Christopher Nkunku, Mudryk, Neto, all players that need minutes, need consistent minutes, and very much I think will make up the bulk, I assume. We'll see when we get here this time next week, or a little bit later when we get into the Conference League, how different this team looks. I think the team in the Conference League, I hope, is slightly stronger. There will be a few what you deem first team players in there, but I think that this will maybe reflect or show kind of the way Maresca is looking to kind of use the Premier League and then very much rotate with the Conference League and Carabao Cup. So that was something to look out for. The highlight of the night was a Christopher Nkunku hat-trick. I mean, Nkunku had all the space in the world, all the time to very much fulfill his duty of scoring goals, playing that centre-forward role, putting out a flurry of finishes. The first was expertly crafted by Joao Felix to chip it over and then easily finished by Christopher Nkunku. The second was a lovely flick after some nice combination play down the right wing where Gusto's on the overlap, low cross into the box, nice back heel. The third one later on in the game it was a simple tap in after a goalkeeping error. So, for Nkunku, it's going to be, I think for him in particular, a really interesting season, because so far this season he's been either deemed a second choice player or someone coming off the bench for impact, as we saw against Bournemouth. And when you're starting this game, you are deemed maybe at the moment to be in the B side. Nkunku really isn't that type of player, and I don't think many of us think of him as that player, but we just spent yesterday talking about the brilliance of Nicholas Jackson, and I think that Jackson will obviously be starting on Saturday, and a lot of the players who started on Saturday, Sancho, Madueke and Palmer, I assume will also come back into the team after they were rested tonight. So, I think that's going to be a conversation for the rest of the season, but Nkunku done his job tonight. The point of tonight was you go out there as a fringe player. It's always what I look at with Chelsea players in these type of situations. You're against League 2 opposition. You're expected to win. Sure, winning isn't the greatest achievement. It's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to also win with comfort, which is what Chelsea did. But then on top of that, can any of those players do enough to kind of make you think, well, should they be playing on Saturday? I think Nkunku did all that he could, really. Score goals, look efficient, look ruthless. Joao Felix, I thought, was going to have that performance. Of course, maybe he feels like he's a little bit unfortunate that the goal wasn't given to him after a free kick, but it wasn't the greatest free kick, and it was kind of more of a goalkeeping error. And of course, he did link up for the first goal, but I thought, unfortunately, he faded as the game went on. The other point I want to bring up here is just looking at some other players. Pedro Neto, of course, scoring. Really good for him. It was a tap-in. It was set up by Mykhailo Mudryk. It was, a really easy goals for him. A lot of the goals for Chelsea tonight were quite simple, as you expect with the level of opposition, and those gaps were consistently opening up. I think Chelsea actually could have scored more. Tyreek George came off the bench and should have absolutely scored. He missed a golden opportunity there to get his first Chelsea goal, and that is kind of the difference in it in academy and senior football, of maybe that pressure where Sam Parkin, who obviously knows a lot about Chelsea and academy football at Chelsea, said, for the academy, for the development squad, he would have rolled that into the bottom corner, and maybe at Stamford Bridge with that kind of enthusiasm and excitement to get his first goal. Let's hope more minutes are coming for Tyreek George, and also more minutes are coming for Josh Akipom, a player who I do want to see a lot more of at right back and see if he can fulfill a squad role. Mudryk did set up a goal, but I don't think Mudryk did enough for me. I think that again, it's one of those performances from him that you kind of forget for large periods he's on the pitch, and in this type of game, again, it's League 2 opposition. This is where you're supposed to kind of really show your quality and show that you're a level above and take those opportunities. Because Maresca in public has been pretty harsh about Mykhailo Mudryk. Almost kind of saying it's not really a confidence thing. This is what Mudryk is, and I think that he is far away from getting minutes and didn't do a lot. The other point I've made on X, and I'll make here as well, is I just don't really see the point of the Dewsbury Hall signing, especially if it's going to get in the way of Carney getting minutes. It was great to see him come off the bench today, and he set up a chance for Mark Guiu quickly. He looked very energetic, given he's barely had any football for Chelsea so far this season. And I'm really excited about Carney Chukwuemeka as a player, and I don't want to see that talent go to waste at Chelsea. Yes, we have some injury concerns, but I just kind of look at Dewsbury Hill and I think you're a competent footballer. What you're doing is just recycling possession, at times making forays up the pitch, but given the way he had this connection with Maresca, it's been quite amazing how far away from the first team he's been, and his performances have been forgettable to disappointing. I thought tonight was all right. Chelsea never faced that much scrutiny and pressure. I thought it was a lot more concerning watching him against Servette when Chelsea did come up against a better quality of opposition, and Chelsea were tested in central midfield. I don't think he came across well there. But I just kind of look at him and go, for a 26-year-old squad filler, it's kind of like one of those positions where I'm like, well, couldn't we have just kept Leslie Ugochukwu? Can Cassidy get more minutes, who I thought impressed more? Carney can play those minutes. It's just, I just don't really see the point of the signing, especially with what we already had. It's kind of just a little bit of clutter. Now, I understand the argument will be, he's a body, he's an experienced player, it's going to be a long old season, and in those kind of less favourable, kind of fashionable games, he can play a competent kind of quiet role, get through the 90 minutes kind of unscathed, and people will kind of just move on. But I kind of just wonder, it just goes back to priority over minutes. For me, Carney should be starting these games for me, because I think he's a more exciting talent. I think he's got the potential to be a really, really good player. So I'd like to see him start these games. And it just kind of begs the question, why did we sign him? Because I don't think he's that much of a level raiser. I don't think he was awful tonight. But again, maybe that's just, am I being harsh? Maybe I am being harsh. I just look at him and I think I'm already kind of questioning that signing and thinking, well, if you were coming in, I think you should be playing a bigger role in the team, and you're obviously not going to be starting at the moment. Caicedo is playing amazing. Palmer's playing a central role, and Enzo Fernandez is now back in the team and had a decent game on a weekend, and he's more likely to start than you 9 times out of 10. And when Lavia is returning, he's going to be getting a role in central midfield. And to me, Carney Chukwuemeka is a more exciting midfielder. So that is kind of a broader question. But listen, we're into the hat for the next round. You hope that Chelsea can progress as they usually do. Of course, it is draw reliant. Chelsea could get Man City away in the next round. But I really hope that Chelsea take these cups seriously, because it'd be lovely to win some silverware this year. And this is one of the routes to do it. So those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below, and I will see you again very soon. All the best.